Hey, before we get started on this week's episode of the Endless Honeymoon Podcast, we'd like you to know that we are coming to San Francisco as a part of the San Francisco Sketch Fest.
Frisco Bay
The
is
Frisco
what I like
Bay.
to call it.
That's what everybody likes to call it. People love calling it Frisco.
If you're a fan of Veep, we have Matt Walsh, his hilarious wife, Morgan Walsh. They're going to be our special guests as well, so come see us all in Frisco.
sfsketchfest.com. You can get your tickets. We're at the Marines Memorial Theater on the 25th of January. And if you would like to come to the show and not buy a ticket, but participate live, you can come on stage and be one of our couples. You can email us with your dilemma. That is endlesshoneymoonpod@gmail.com, and you'll be put in touch with our producer, and maybe you can be a part of the live Endless Honeymoon Podcast experience. And the night before that, I'm doing my own solo show on the 24th at the Swedish American Music Hall, where I will be doing a record release party for my brand new all crowd work stand-up album that I'm releasing called Crowd Surfing. I'm very proud of it, very excited of this album. So also, please, you can go to my Instagram and you can click the link there for a pre-order link, or if it's after the 24th, you can buy my album, Crowd Surfing, available on all of the places that you buy music.
It's so amazing that you can do that.
Well, thank you. I'm very proud of this particular one.
You're so good at crowd work.
Well, thank you, honey. You're so good
and that album is so funny.
Thank you. You're a good wife. Let's start this show.
Welcome to episode 28 of the Endless Honeymoon Podcast. That is Moshe Kasher chewing on Nicorette.
Chewing on Nicorette. It's a new year, and I had a resolution. Chaboy, stop vaping. No more vapory for me. I'm on Nicorette gum, and I gotta tell you, life sucks.
No, you're also on those little lozenges.
Yeah, the lozenges are gross. Nicorette gum. Here's the thing about nicotine gum. It's like pleasant poison. Mm-hmm. It's like heartburn gum. Mm-hmm. But it feels better, I guess. No, I mean vaping
kind of makes you gag a little bit.
Yeah, I do like it when you gag, but you get it.
You know what's a low point is like a glass of wine and Nicorette. I'm not going to say I wasn't there this weekend.
Natasha's like, keeps bumming Nicorette off me. And I'm like, you aren't addicted. You're the only person I've ever known who's trying to develop a nicotine addiction by chewing nicotine gum.
Some people get addicted to Nicorette. It gives you a buzz.
Right, but you weren't a nicotine addict. And now
I vaped off of your vape sometimes.
Once in a while, and I would go away for like a week, and you'd be like, when I get home, like, can I have a puff? And now I got this nicotine gum, and you're like, can I just get another square? Can I get another little nibble?
Those lozenges, though, I don't recommend. They were burning the roof of my mouth.
Here's the thing. It was New Year's Eve. It was like 2 days before New Year's, and I realized I hadn't made a resolution. I'm 40 years old. I was developing a mild vaping cough.
I told you one night we were watching a movie, and you had what I would describe as labored breathing.
It's not true.
It was, and you were just like... And I was like, that's from vaping. Because you vape from the second you wake up to the moment you're like still on your side vaping and texting like for an hour after I go to bed.
I was trying to develop a system where as the last shudder of orgasm leaves my body, the vape device hits my lip. So it's like... I almost had it down, but then I quit. I was thinking, I'm 40 years old. I don't want to exit my 40th year still vaping, because if I do that, there's no end in sight. I mean, vaping and smoking, so pleasant. It makes life so much more pleasant. But
not smoking cigarettes. Vaping is way more pleasant. I think.
Smoking, it's all good.
Cigarettes kind of stink.
Yeah, they stink, but you're on the river. You're on a river in Europe with an espresso. You say Gianni. You say Massimo. Another espresso doppio, por favore. And then you light up an Export A, or something like that.
I remember when you were in Rome, you were smoking cigarettes and you smoked them in your apartment.
Oh, it was I got kicked out of an apartment for smoking too much. Remember that? The guy told me too. He was a smoker. He's like, you can smoke in here. And then 2 months later, he's like, you smoke too much. Go away.
You smoke too much for
an Italian. You know how bad that is? He's like, I don't know. You're a little bit too much yelling at your girlfriend. Did I tell you about that? One time I was in Italy. I came across a couple, and the couple was like the guy had the woman up against a wall, and he was like holding her and screaming in her face. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to do something. I'm gonna have to intervene here. And then I watched him for a while, and after a while I was like, oh, I think this is just some Italian shit, actually. This is just sort of Italian courtship. Anyway, I'm off the vape.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I didn't think you'd be able to do it.
Really? Well,
I mean, you're doing good.
I just thought I would vape for the rest of my life. You know how bummed I'm going to be if in 20 years the research comes out about vaping and it turns out that it wasn't bad for you?
That's 100% impossible.
You're not a statistician, an epidemiologist, or a health expert. You don't know.
It can't be good to be putting like those liquid drops of poison into your...
All I'm saying is if I find out in 25, 30 years that everything was cool and I wasted the last 30 years of my life not vaping when I could have been healthily vaping my way to my 90th year, I'll be very bummed.
If anyone knows of any current vaping studies, could you send them?
No,
it's
don't
really
send
hard
us.
to...
No one's interested in your in your scared straight reefer madness. Anyway, I'm off the stick, and I'm on the gum. And
so I'm glad that you're gonna live 20 more years, I guess.
Fuck you! What do you mean you guess?
I already had it planned. I was like, well, he keeps vaping. He's definitely addicted to it. He does it all day long. So probably he'll die in like 10 years, and then
that was your plan.
I didn't think you could do it. Is all I'm saying.
But what was the plan? What were you gonna do when I died? First of all, I'm 5 years younger than you. I'm gonna outlive you regardless.
It doesn't work like that.
What do you mean? Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
What do you mean?
Some people live long.
Some people, yeah. I'm going to be one of those people.
Okay.
But women live longer than men, but I'm 5 years younger than you. So my vision for the future was always that we would probably exhale we would take our last gasps together, holding our old gnarled arthritic hands in a hospital bed, a sleep number bed. That we haven't done an ad for sleep number beds, but we should for this very thing. Like our little gnarled hands were clasped together, and we were watching our Netflix special, maybe, right? Like
our fourth one,
our fourth Netflix special. And I was saying I love you, and you were saying I love you too. And as we took our very last gasp, I took all of the effort possible in my old broken body, my 90-year-old body. I rolled over. I looked at you taking your last breath, and I didn't want to live without you any longer, you know. And I was like, this is it. I'm about to take my last breath. And as I was about to take my last breath, I reached in, I grabbed an old antique vape device, and I vaped my one last puff for the Gipper. And then I die right there, still holding your hand, exhaling vape smoke.
It's very romantic.
It's beautiful. But you were planning on, I'm 50, I croak, and you move to New York City with like a friend and go watch Broadway plays for 35 more years?
That would actually be fun.
Thanks a lot, dude. Speaking of old people and death, we're trying
to see all of the old rock and roll people who are about to die.
Yeah, it's the See 'Em Before They Die tour that Natasha and I have started. We started with John Prine, and that was truly an amazing concert. And this very weekend, we went down and saw old Willie Nelson. Willie. Still got it. 87 years old.
His arm hair was like 4 inches long.
It was crazy. I never seen anything like it. It was like
like part of the guitar.
Right. It felt like it was gnarled into the guitar. It was like woven into the strings. But the boy still got it. He's 86 years old. He's still like strumming this like very weird old guitar with a strange sound, you know?
It was very cool.
It was an awesome concert.
It was very lo-fi. His whole show is just like cool and chill.
And the woman, but the crowd, here's the sample of the demographic. The lady behind us was talking about her
lactose intolerance
for like a half hour. That was like the main. It wasn't even like counterculture. Let's smoke some doobies. It was like, I haven't had dairy in a decade because I get diarrhea almost instantly.
And then what was the other demographic?
We saw some kids.
That was cool.
That was cool. There was a kid with a bolo tie. I'm like, where did this country nerd come from? The outskirts of San Diego. We drove all the way down to San Diego to see Willie Nelson in a really cool small theater. It was really awesome.
At first, Moshe didn't like it because he didn't think he was like could sing that well or was playing his guitar very well.
Look, he can't sing that well. The guy's 87 years old.
He's lost his voice, so a lot of the songs are sing-alongs, and he just kind of points to his ear when it's time for the chorus.
It's a funny thing these old rockers do, which is that they're just tired and old, and their voices are kind of shot. So during every chorus, they'll be like, you do it. It's like, bitch, I paid plenty of money to have you do it. But it's Willie Nelson and Sons and family, And there was a moment where I was really touched. I was really emotionally overwhelmed by it. It was that old Willie Nelson chestnut, roll me up and smoke me when I die. And it's, it's a celebration of like not being afraid of death and like drug use. And it's like Willie Nelson singing, roll me up and smoke me when I die. There's going to be a party, so swing on by, or whatever the lyrics are. And his sons are playing backup guitar and rhythm guitar, lead guitar and rhythm guitar along with him. Like they're singing the chorus to this song about their old father who is going to die soon and how he celebrates and welcomes his impending doom. And I got choked up. And then it was
very beautiful.
It was a beautiful time. And also it was just awesome to see like that many straight white men on stage. Finally they're getting a break. Getting a break, baby.
He played some Hank Williams songs. He played some Carter Family songs. He played some originals. He played some hits.
The point is, if there are people who you love, artists who you love, who are old, go see them before they die. One of my biggest regrets was Prince.
I know.
Did a 40-night residency here in LA, and it was like Shaka Khan was coming on, and like Stevie Wonder. It was every night, so every LA based musical celebrity was going down and like jamming with Prince, and I was just like, I'll catch him next time. Well, guess what? Those buttless chaps went to the sky.
Elton John's tour is literally him taking a walker to the sky.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's an escalator, and he takes a walker and just goes into it.
At the end of the concert?
Yeah, my friend sent it to me. You can see it online.
Maybe just do that. We have a friend who doesn't like to travel because he's like, why would I travel? I'll just check it out online. I can see Moldova on YouTube. Shout out to Howard Kramer. What's wrong with him?
We should have Howard on the podcast soon.
Sure.
Okay, well, let's take some calls.
Hey, yeah, let's do it. Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Moshe?
You know what I like better than anything? Single-use plastic. What I like to do is I like to buy plastic stuff and immediately throw it away because I heard about this really cool island in the Pacific Ocean that's made of plastic trash. But some people have said that plastic trash island is a bit of an eyesore. So I was thinking maybe they should start a company that makes something out of the plastic we throw away.
Enter Rothy's.
Rothy's
are made from plastic. They are the perfect everyday shoes for life on the go.
They go with anything from yoga pants to dresses and skirts. They're not made of plastic. They're made of recycled plastic, and they feel comfortable. They're like cloth now. They've woven this plastic water bottles to create what some called the most comfortable flats they've ever worn.
Plus, Rothy's always comes with free shipping and free returns and exchanges. No risk, no worries, no reason not to try.
Let me tell you, it will blow your mind that they're made from repurposed plastic water bottles. In fact, Rothy's has diverted over 35 million water bottles from landfills already. They're comfortable, they look good, and you can feel good wearing them because they're actually doing something about our plastics problem.
You'll quickly discover why BuzzFeed called them their forever shoes.
They're also fully machine washable. So, go right now to rothys.com/honeymoon. That's rothys.com/honeymoon to get your new favorite flats today. Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Moshe?
You know what I like to do?
What?
I like to go to yoga classes, sit in the back of the class, not do yoga, but just stare lasciviously at the women doing yoga, because I love yoga pants.
Well, thank God there is Betabrand.
That's right.
They sent me a pair of these. Now, they are not yoga pants. They are dress pants that are as comfortable as yoga pants.
They're yoga pants. It's something of both. Do you have a to-do list that never seems to end? You running from a flight straight to a meeting? You still have to cook dinner for yourself? Betabrand's dress pant yoga pants are perfect for that.
You can choose from dozens of colors, patterns, cuts, and styles. I like the little boot cut one. I also have a skinny one, all black. They have pockets. They even have a pair with 8 pockets.
Wait a minute. I'm realizing upon reading this that the Betabrand dress pant is a yoga pant comfort, but it looks like dress pants, and that's really going to crimp my style when I'm trying to stare at women's bodies. Well, listen,
Right.
Luckily, they didn't make it for creeps like me. They made it for gals like you. They even offer premium denim pants with the same amount of flexibility and comfort as yoga pants.
Right now, our listeners can get 20% off their first order when you go to betabrand.com/honeymoon. That's 20% off your first order at betabrand.com/honeymoon.
Millions of women agree these are the most comfortable pants you'll ever wear to work. Betabrand.com/honeymoon for 20% off for our listeners only.
Now we're going to call Emily in Pittsburgh.
Hello?
Emily?
Hi.
Hey, it's Natasha Leggero and her husband.
I have a name and an identity. It's Moshe Kasher calling. How are you, Emily?
I am doing all right. I'm really excited to talk to you guys.
We are very excited to talk to you. How's Pittsburgh?
It's great. I'm actually in Albany right now.
Oh,
at an airport.
Albany.
Yikes.
But I'm on my way to Pittsburgh.
I feel like Albany, I did a show once in Albany and I bombed so hard they switched me with my opener.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
Oh, what a great story about how bad Albany is.
They didn't, I felt like I couldn't connect with them.
It might not have been Albany's fault, hon.
It might have been Albany.
Thank you.
Okay, so what's up? Why'd you call? And
Bunch of bumpkins in Albany.
Yeah, this is the only time I've ever heard somebody say, I'm somewhere and I'm going to Pittsburgh, and it made Pittsburgh sound like a vacation destination.
Yeah, right. The destination, right. Yeah.
I like Pittsburgh, though. To be honest with you, I like Pittsburgh.
I'm
it's
just
beautiful.
biased because Albany, I had that bad experience there.
Right. They just didn't get the comedic genius that had been brought to the upstate New York area.
Right. It's the lesser of two evils.
I think it was an Italian restaurant too. It was in my early days.
Well, okay. Well, that explains a little bit. But okay. Well, anyway.
So what's going on?
Yeah. I feel like there's kind of a lot of details, but I'll try to explain it like as succinctly as possible. But basically, I'm in a relationship with my boyfriend now. We've been together for like a year and a half. But I did and said some kind of dumb things at the very beginning of our relationship that are haunting me. And I'm wondering like how, if anything, like what I can do to get over them, I guess. But basically I think we have like a pretty good relationship, but
Wait, Emily, let me stop you there.
Okay.
Sometimes we want people to make things succinct, but when you say you did and said some dumb things in the beginning of the relationship, we're going to want you to not compact.
Okay.
What'd you do? What'd you say?
Fair. So there's like two major things that I did that come up frequently, like when we have arguments. The first of which sounds really bad, but it was during a game. Okay, let me preface this by saying that we met on Tinder. So in the beginning of our relationship, I was not taking the relationship seriously, like really at all. I think he was though, which is part of the problem. But anyway, we were playing a drunk game of like truth or dare or never have I ever or something. And I was drunk and I started talking about like the dick sizes of some of the people that I've slept with before and that they're large, and it made him feel really bad about himself, but he doesn't have anything to be ashamed of in that category.
So he's got a medium-sized dick, and you've been slanging with some big old hogs. Is that about right? Which is better, actually. I don't like big dicks. I hear you.
Believe me when I say that.
No, I believe
don't
you.
Like them.
To be honest with you, they don't fit inside me either.
No, right?
And the amount of complaints I've gotten over. Luckily, Natasha she's just a straight up size queen, and like she can take it to the hilt. But the amount of complaints I had before Natasha and I got together, it was just like, ow, I can't do that. That doesn't seem like a dick. That seems like a third leg. That seems like a baseball bat. Things like that. So I get it. So you were basically saying, I've sat on many a fat old hog, and he hasn't been able to forget it.
He hasn't been able to forget it, and I feel really. And I was saying it out of like my own insecurities to like try to get myself like an upper leg in the situation.
A third leg, a third leg.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yes, right. So that's like one major thing that comes up that I feel really bad about, and
you should never mention it again.
he's mentioned it.
Then just always just brush it off. Ha 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 ha. Like I would just seriously, like why you just said something stupid. You didn't mean it. Just like you can't, if the more attention you draw to it, it's who cares?
Yeah.
He needs to get over it.
He can't, so I think there's a fundamental lack of, he doubts my attraction to him, even like a year plus in now. And he also doubts, I think, like my commitment to him and the relationship.
What? Because what do you mean? Because you sucked one big dick? He's not sure you can love?
No, that was one major thing. But then the other major thing that happened that always comes up is, okay, so I met him on Tinder, right? And when we were first seeing each other, it was like I was still on Tinder. And so I used okay, I'm in like a public airport, so it's like weird, but in the past.
It's in Albany. Those people, there's not even human beings.
I know.
Don't worry about it.
I know, it's weird. But so in the past, I have used Tinder to like make friends and like specifically to like get hookups for like weed. So I was doing that with this kid while I was seeing my current boyfriend now. We were like seeing each other, but we weren't a real relationship. And I was seeing this other kid, but I wasn't actually like, I had no intentions of like dating him or hooking up with him or anything. I was like getting weed from him.
Okay.
And
so you
okay.
You found a kid? You keep saying kid. That's
Sorry,
disturbing
I mean
me.
Kid, but I mean like a person my age in their 20s.
And you were pretending to, you were like leading the guy on, but actually using him for weed?
No, I was using him for weed, and he understood that was a situation. And
How
I was
difficult
also, like,
is it to get weed in Pittsburgh that you have to log on to Tinder in order to find a drug dealer?
I had just moved there,
okay.
And I didn't know anyone there, so that was a priority for me, and that was just how I did it.
Isn't like Wiz Khalifa from Pittsburgh? He's a famous marijuana smoker. I don't feel like you guys are in prohibition times.
No, we're not.
Okay, so forward to what is the main issue now? Is just that like.
So he found out you were still on Tinder?
Yeah, no, what's the problem?
Yes.
Yeah.
The problem is that
Trust.
A few dates in, not having been a real relationship, he found out that I was still on Tinder and that I was hanging out with this guy who I hung out with like twice.
Did you hook up with him?
No, I didn't. And I had no intention to. And he doesn't believe that. He doesn't believe me when I say like I had no intention to do so. I got off Tinder like pretty soon after that, and started like actually dating my boyfriend now. And became committed to the relationship. But those are the two instances that really just always come up.
But these things happen at the beginning of your relationship. It's like this, he might just not be able to like get over it. And then it's like, you kind of need someone a little more in touch with themselves.
Another thing that I forgot to mention is that he's been cheated on by girlfriends in his past.
It would have been awesome if you had been like, another thing I forgot to mention is I was involved in the Great Pittsburgh Gangbang of 2015. Well, I slept with over 40 men at once on video. But okay, so he's been cheated on. I mean,
he's just like harping on these things from the beginning of the relationship.
I know. Everything you're saying, I'm like, I mean, here's the real problem. You got a teeny tiny dick lover, and he can't get over the fact that his little old ding dong, he's like obsessed with it. He's like hung up on this little nubbin, and he's just like, every time he looks down, he like thinks about all the dick that wasn't.
Oh my God.
No, it's not. It's honestly.
Oh my God! If he ever hears this, Moshe.
Okay,
I know.
If he ever hears this, let me just tell you, you got a beautifully thick white little ping pong.
He's got a great dick.
No,
he's got a great dick, and he doesn't believe me when I tell him that.
Here's the thing. My primary feeling, hearing you tell these two stories, the phrase that came to mind was, "That's it." That's all.
Yeah.
Both those are. These are stupid.
She's ready to commit. She's ready to take it to the next level. He's insecure. He needs to go to therapy.
She's not even ready. She's already committed. It's already happened. How long have you been with this guy?
A year and a half. We lived together.
And what was the end of the incident? Like the Tinder incident?
The poor kid who I was like kind of becoming friends with, he texted me several times. I had to ghost him and delete Tinder.
But how long ago was that? A year?
A year plus ago, yeah.
Yeah, you're mad. The problem isn't that you did something stupid at all.
Yeah.
The problem is that the stupid thing you did wasn't the stuff you did on Tinder or your never have I ever sat on an 18-inch dick game. The stupid thing you did was end up with a guy that's this insecure that can't believe that he's worthy of your love. I mean, you've done everything you need to do to prove to him that he's worthy of your love. You tell him you love fucking him. You tell him you got off Tinder over a year ago. like, you know, I mean, in the beginning of our relationship, when the beginning of Natasha and my relationship, I was sleeping with literally 47 people, right, Natasha? You remember?
Oh my God.
I would bring them over. I would say, "This is Julia." You know, no, I'm just kidding. But nothing you're saying is red flagville at all to me. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right, Moshe.
What would you do if you were in this kind of situation?
I would maybe have a talk with him and just say, if I was in this situation, I would be like, listen, next time he brings it up, like, I can't, please don't ever bring that up again. Like, let's just move past that and not talk about this.
He's just so stubborn though. And like, he's a better arguer than I am, I guess.
But how much can you argue about that?
It's the same, and we don't have this argument a lot. It's just when it does come up, it's always the same thing. And I always tell him basically what you guys are saying. Like, I felt differently about the relationship then than I did
think you
now.
should tell him that maybe you want to break up because he can't get over it.
Natasha just wants everybody to break up. Natasha doesn't want anybody to be in a relationship.
No, I do, but I mean, not with someone who's going to like annoy you every 6 months with this dumb fight that is like his own problem.
I mean, it's such like small potatoes. No offense to your boyfriend who has a small potato, but
it's.
I mean, I'm wondering, like, when you say he's a better arguer, because from my perspective, I'm one of the world's great arguers, just FYI, and from my perspective, he doesn't have an argumentative leg to stand on. What is his?
I mean, we are only hearing her side of the story.
I know. What's his?
Yeah, right.
What's his primary argument? What does he say? Like
that these things, well, not necessarily. So I guess it's two things. Like, the dick thing just fed into his own insecurities, and he's like still insecure about that. But the real issue is like that he doesn't or didn't see me as trustworthy or committed to the relationship then. So I guess he still like has doubts about it in that sense. I don't know.
Well, let me just say, Emily, that we're all adults here. How old are you?
How old am I? I'm 24.
So in adult world, we are not responsible for other people's insecurities. We're responsible only for our own interactions and making sure that they're not done with brutality. And you maybe the first couple interactions you had with him before you realized how much you loved him were not done with the most grace you could have done them with. But but that it doesn't justify him acting out his insecurities on you a year and a half later. You aren't responsible for his insecurities at all.
Unless he really doesn't want to commit to you and is in love with someone else.
I doubt that.
Right.
This guy seems like a little, like, whipped, little tiny peened.
No.
So then what can she say to him, Moshe?
I would say that you say to him next time he brings it up, just say, listen, I love you. I've told you I loved you. I'm off Tinder. I'm committed to you. I moved in with you. If that doesn't show you that I'm committed to you, I can't help you. Say the words, I am not responsible for your insecurities. And if you can't get over them, we should either go see someone, you should go see someone, or we should stop seeing each other.
Yeah.
All right, that's great advice.
That's what I think.
Good job, Moshe.
Emily, what do you think?
Emily, please implement some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. And next time it comes up, that's going to have to be...
Will you let us know what happens? Because I'm curious, because that does seem like the most sensible thing to do, but who knows what could happen.
It's true. It's these people do this thing with insecurities where they magnify the significance of an insignificant experience because they can't get over the fact that someone loves them. They can't. They're just so blown away and feeling unworthy of that love that they'll magnify a tiny little infraction in order to justify their own feelings of insecurity a year and a half later. I mean, it's like, I'd love to argue with this guy for you because I'm like, get over it, dude. You got the girl.
I would love to see that.
She's there. She lives with you. She's in your bed. She's not enjoying any moment in your bed, but she's in your bed.
Yeah, right, exactly, which is what I try to get him to understand. But yeah.
All right, well, good luck. And
thank you.
I know it's hard.
Call us back. Let us know how it goes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Okay, Emily. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Moshe, maybe you should just become a therapist.
Yeah, that's what I'll be like. Your man's got a little deeny ding dong. My name is Dr. Kasher. I'm here to tell you the straight truth. You got a teeny peeny? I mean, what? That guy just sounds like a gump. I'm serious. Like a year later, you're still like, well, there was a truth or dare game where you once said you slept with a guy with a big old ding dong.
Maybe she gets drunk all the time and like says obnoxious things.
And does like weird gestures with her pinky.
I don't know. Or talks about, all the...
Maybe.
I mean, who knows?
We only have what we have to go on, what she's telling us. And from my perspective, that guy just sounds like he's looking the ultimate gift horse in the mouth. It's like, I hate that so much when someone's like, she's there, she's in the house, she moved in, she's with you, and you're still going, I don't know if she's committed. It's like, bitch, look. She's there.
Well, I would say that if I was trying to get out of a relationship.
I don't think that, well, maybe, but based on what we heard, I think that guy just, again, like I said, he can't believe that someone loves him because he doesn't think he's worth it. Well, guess what, buddy? By not thinking you're worth it, you become not worth it. You're not worth love. This has been Dr. Kasher, Medicine Woman. Okay, I need to cleanse my palate. Let's play some secrets.
So I have a secret. My cousin married a girl. Her name is Lindsay. And I don't know how to spell her name. I always forget if it's E-Y or A-Y. So whenever I send texts to him about it, I always say, hope you and Linz, L-I-N-D-S, like, I always have this abbreviation that I would never call her in person over text, so I just get to avoid the question for longer. Okay, that's it. Bye-bye.
Oh, how relatable.
That is a very cute person.
She was cute. It was cute, but it's relatable. I got that kind of situation in my life. I have a few sets of twins in my life that I've had to create. I went years, and I was like, I do not know the difference between these people's names, and I had to make mnemonic devices, little games. That's the secret. You find out through a third party how to spell it, and then find a game. So I don't know how you even spell Lindsay, but ever. But then you make a little game. I-E because I love you, or I don't know, it's some little game.
I think people are used to their names getting spelled wrong.
Yeah, but not from your sister-in-law.
That's true.
I think that's the big part here. Oh, I relate to that person so much. I wish I could say the mnemonic devices I use with the twins in my life, but then people who listen would know who I'm talking about.
All right, let's hear another secret.
Hey, Moshe and Natasha. I love your podcast. So my secret is that I have 2 placentas in my freezer. One of them has been there for 6 years, and the other one has been there for 2 years. And my plan was to, after my kids were born, was to take them home and bury them and plant a tree over them. And now that I'm saying that out loud, it sounds super crazy, but every spring I forget to do it, so they've just literally been chilling in the freezer. Thanks.
You fucking freak. You are that woman is a straight up freak of nature. I got some bad news for you, Natasha.
I did the same thing.
We did it.
I had it in my freezer. This placenta. I threw a party for my kid. I hired a witch.
Yep, a shamaness came by.
She came over. She planted a tree.
We sprinkled some placenta glop or whatever.
I mean, first I asked the gardener too, like where would be a good place to plant and what kind of thing, figured it out. And then we had a ceremony.
Yeah, now we got a tree growing out of the placental afterbirth discharge. It's growing. It's been a year now, and it's grown like a full 2 feet. I don't think it sounds freaky at all. Well, of course we did it. But
everyone should be planting more trees.
And thank God you're not eating your placenta, because that's what most gross moms do.
It's a great excuse for a party.
We had a friend
party.
We had a friend who was doing placenta smoothies. She said, it was a little chunky, is what she said. So just thank God you're not that person.
Yeah, but you should definitely get those in the ground.
Yeah, get that placenta in the ground.
But maybe don't call it a placenta party. Just say tree planting.
Or discharge party.
Do it on the birthdays of your children.
That's a good idea. Do it on the next 2 birthdays. We support you and all kinds of white nonsense. I'm assuming you're white, and I think it's a safe assumption.
Hi, guys. I have a secret. So when I was about 19, I was going on a first date. The guy happened to be my manager at the sandwich shop. And I was really nervous, and we were at a Mexican restaurant about to be seated, and I had a fart, and I thought I could sneak it out. Turns out I shit my pants. And so I was like, oh, I have to go to the restroom. And I went to the bathroom, and then I ditched my underwear in the little tampon mailbox in the bathroom, and 3-balled the rest of the date. Oh, also when I was a kid, I was really OCD. And I used to keep my toenail clippings in a box because I thought if I didn't, my parents would die. Okay, thanks, bye.
She thought if she didn't, her parents would die?
Yeah.
Someone must tell you that, and then...
She knew that was the disturbing one, so she tried to, like, fold it in. She's like, here's a funny, salacious shit story. And then she's like, I've got deep witchcraft OCD, bye.
But when you're young, you know, and working in a sandwich shop, you don't really want to date your manager.
No,
like I feel like when I was
you do have
young,
diarrhea.
Wouldn't that feel inappropriate, like in a job like that, to be dating the manager?
For sure. There's nothing in your life says success like dating the manager at your sandwich shop.
No, but also it's like, yeah.
I heard a great story about a bathroom restaurant pants shitting. Ever tell this story on this podcast before? Some Hollywood guy had written this screenplay, and it was like I feel like I've told this story before.
It's not very specific, so.
Well, anyway, he'd written this ultimate screenplay that like he was going to get made, and Steven Seagal was like the perfect guy for the movie, for the lead. And he's like, we worked all of his Hollywood connections to get a meeting with Steven Seagal, and finally Steven Seagal agreed to meet with him. And he went and he sat down with Steven Seagal, and they were about to start talking about the movie, and the guy's like, oh. And he's like, Mr. Seagal, would you excuse me? And he went into the bathroom, like ran into the bathroom, doing that butt clench. You know that butt clench you do where you're driving home and you're like a foot off the seat. And he went and he just like colossal diarrhea city, you know, just kabloosh. And he's like, he wiped up. He pulled his pants up. He's like, oh my God, I got to get back out there and do this meeting with Mr. Steven Seagal. And he walked up to the table. And at the moment he was about to sit down, his just asshole unleashed. And he just shit his pants all the way down his pants. And
Moshe, this does not seem real.
This is the story I heard. And
you said a Hollywood guy made a big Hollywood movie. There's like no details.
Steven Seagal, that's a very specific detail.
This seems like one of those stories that's like not true.
He gets back to the table, he shits his pants, and he goes, forget it, Mr. Seagal, and just goes back into the bed. Like there's no way you can close the deal having shit your pants in front of Steven Seagal.
I hear you.
You don't believe me, though?
I mean, you just seemed like a fake story.
Well, I didn't make it up.
I haven't heard it before.
Oh, well, I didn't make this story up. It might not be true, but I definitely truly heard it.
Okay, I like it.
Anyway.
Let's hear another secret.
Hi, guys. I finally have a secret. It's not super juicy, but my boss doesn't know. So sometimes at my job, which, by the way, I do a lot of phone and web sales, I just don't feel like doing complicated quotes, so I don't. And if the customer ever decides to follow up, I tell them, oh my God, that's so weird. I sent that quote the same day. And I go and find an email that I sent someone else on that day, and I edit it. I actually do get their quote. And when I forward it to them, I just change a few details, like the name and email, of course, and the customers have no idea. Some of them are even, like, they go as far as to say, oh my God, that's so weird. I never got it. Maybe it went to my spam. But anyway, no one's figured it out yet. My coworkers know, but not my boss. Thanks. Love you guys. Podcast is amazing. Toodaloo.
Yes.
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't really understand what she's doing.
Well, I don't fully understand it either. It's just like...
that's what I was going to say. It's obviously there's a high margin for error.
Yeah, the stakes are...
Because you've got to like delete everything.
The stakes are so low and so high. It's like what she's not doing is like... following up and doing her job. Very small amount of effort. And the risk is she's going to be unemployed in like a growing homelessness crisis that we're having.
Right. Well, maybe she's become bad at her job so she could have a secret to tell us.
I know. It did seem like she was working on one. She's like, damn, I like that podcast. I should create more chaos in my life so that I can have something to say. I hate hustles like that, though, where the hustle is laziness. It's like you're not even getting like paid. You're not even like coming up. You're just like not doing work that you're supposed to be doing.
Maybe she doesn't have time.
At my old job, when I was a sign language interpreter, there was this hustle that people were doing. I always felt like the stupidest hustle in the world. It was like I used to work on webcams, you know, and doing sign language interpreting over webcam, right? And the way that it would work is you would call, a deaf person would be on the screen, and you'd make a phone call for them, and you could like reject certain calls, and this like network of interpreters throughout the company was like making arrangements with deaf people that they were friends with to call in, and they would keep rejecting the call until they got to one of their deaf friends, and they would make like a 7-hour call with the deaf person just like watching TV. They like call like the IRS and be on like a 3-hour hold, and the whole hustle was so that the interpreter, nobody's getting paid extra money. It was so the interpreter could just be at work and not have to work and just sit there pretending to be on a call and be like surfing the internet. That always felt like the pettiest hustle of all time.
Do you feel bad about it?
I didn't do it.
Oh, you didn't do it.
I was a hard worker. I did some other things. I did some other nefarious things.
I know, honey. You're a rebel.
I was a rebel. I was a Red Bull back then. One time these two deaf guys called, and I connected the call, and it was like, do you want hot, sexy, juicy pussies? Rubbed all over your face. $5.99 a minute. Press 5. And I was interpreting it. I was like, I can't really connect this call. It's like a 900 number. It's phone sex. And the guys, it was two guys, and they were like, no, that's not what we want. We don't want phone sex. We want like a woman to come to our house and have sex with us. And I was like, you mean a prostitute? And they're like, yeah, that. And I was like, okay. They go, do you know anybody?
Wait, and then as the interpreter,
I was like the operator.
That's very
I'm like,
funny.
no, I don't know anybody, dude.
But also, is it legal for you to like hook them up? Like, would you get fired for hooking them up to their phone sex call?
Well, the reason I couldn't connect to the phone sex call thing wasn't because of the moral implications, although I do find phone sex deeply immoral and wrong. Yeah, it was because like we weren't allowed to pay for we couldn't pay the extra connection fee.
Right.
The company didn't pay that. There was no immorality. I interpreted drug deals. I interpreted all kinds of stuff. In fact, I interpreted one time an assassination setup. The guy was like paying a hitman, and I faithfully interpreted it to the best. No, I didn't do that. But I did do drug dealing calls.
Was Steven Seagal there?
Let's play another secret.
Hi, guys. I wanted to leave a secret or two. When I was young, my house burnt down, and we had a pool, and the pool turned into kind of like a swamp. And then we had a bunch of frogs that lived in the pool, and I would go back there, in the middle of the day as the house was being rebuilt, at different stages of the house being rebuilt. I would go back there, and I found a bucket of acid, and I would pick frogs out of the pool and dip them in acid, and I did that a lot. I don't know why I did it, and I didn't I wasn't really that interested in. I was just being destructive, I guess. But anyway, that's my secret. I also, I used to also. Well, anyway, that's it. I'm not. That's that. Okay.
Wait, will you please call us back with your other secret, sir?
I know. It's like.
Wait, does acid kill a frog? Would that kill it?
I mean, it was acid. It was not LSD.
Right. No, I get it. So the acid would just like kill it immediately.
I do believe so. Yeah.
Well,
I love that guy's affect. He was like, "Oh, hey guys, I've got a secret or two to get off. Let me see here. Just going through the old Rolodex here. Oh yeah, I tortured small animals for an extended period of time by boiling them in lysergic acid. So there's that. What else? I got another one. Oh, no, my memory actually won't allow me to access that one. I can't, because then I would get arrested from the FBI. Okay, so, well, that's all. Hope all's well. Calling in from Dayton.
Moshe. That poor guy.
I want to know that other secret. He's like, yeah, there was a lot of virgin women in my neighborhood that went missing. I guess technically I am responsible for those. I tortured and killed many young women.
This guy's house burned down. It might have been a dark period of his life. He didn't know what was happening. Many of his possessions were probably gone and destroyed. The swimming pool was gone.
The swimming pool was not gone. It was a swamp.
Okay, I'm just saying.
When it first started, it felt like a bit of a nice like J.K. Rowling short story. Our pool became a swamp and the frogs moved in. But then he started torturing frogs.
Yeah.
This man torturing frogs. So you kind of sympathize with the guy a bit.
No, but how old was he? I mean,
I know, I didn't quite get that.
It's like if our daughter was like 7 years old and going through a time, and I don't know though. I feel like when even today with the caterpillar, she was like, at every step of the way, we're like, no, don't hurt the caterpillar.
Let me just say the phrase.
So hold on, I think it's his parents' fault, maybe.
Oh, okay, I like that. I like that.
For not telling him
you think
that you
maybe
don't
his
do
parents
that.
are like, no, dip the froggy, dip the froggy.
I like
Burn
to
the
believe
froggy skin.
if I tell my daughter to not do something, she won't do it. But I'm probably just naive.
Let me just say the phrase "quite a bit." That's when you lost me, bud. He's like, so I did that. I did it quite a bit, actually.
It wasn't a couple times or several times.
I'm not sure why I did it. Well, there were voices telling me to do it, but it did make the pain go away.
No, I don't know. It's so hard for me to imagine. I'd like some follow up.
Okay, well, we want that other secret. If you're listening, call us back with that other hot one and say, hey, this is Frog Guy, so we know how to contextualize you. Well, that's all the secrets we have this week.
Let's
take another call.
Another call.
Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Moshe.
Bad news.
What happened?
I'm addicted to CBD.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing.
No.
And I've been going to a really sketchy CBD dealer down in downtown LA, and I wish there was a company that would just deliver it straight to my door.
Wait, there is.
What? What's it called?
It's called Feals.
How do you spell that?
Feals.
Feals, huh?
Feals is premium CBD delivered directly to your doorstep.
They actually naturally help reduce stress, anxiety, pain, and sleeplessness. CBD really has helped a lot of people I know with their anxiety. It's the real shit.
You just place a few drops of Feals under your tongue and feel the difference within minutes.
And if you're new to CBD, Feals offers a free CBD hotline and text message to support and help guide your personal experience.
Feel better naturally. It works naturally to help you feel better. There's no high, no hangover, or addiction, Moshe.
Oh, good. Thank goodness I'll be able to get off of my CBD addiction and onto the Feals healing power.
Feals has me feeling my best every day, and it can help you too. Become a member today by going to feals.com/honeymoon, and you'll get 50% off your first order with free shipping.
That's FEALS.com/honeymoon. You can become a member, and they will deliver it to your door each month. You can pause or cancel anytime. Feals.com/honeymoon for 50% off your first order. Now we're going to call Abby in San Antonio. You ever been in San Antonio?
That city I don't mind.
I like San Antonio. They
got
got a
that
river walk.
Yeah, that's about it.
They went to war with Ron Funches, though.
San Antonio, the city?
Yeah, I guess Ron Funches doesn't like San Antonio.
Why?
I don't know. But it was like a news item in the local paper about how Ron Funches said San Antonio sucked or something like that.
Well, maybe I'll get some Albany press for saying how much I don't like Albany.
Ooh, that's kind of exciting stuff. Let's find out if she's a Ron Funches fan. Let's call Abby.
Hello?
Abby.
Hi, Abby.
We have a question for you.
What's your question?
How do you feel about comedian Ron Funches?
Who?
Comedian Ron Funches.
I'm not familiar with that name. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, he's a funny comedian. He's a great guy, and you should know who he is. But here's a little bit of trivia about him. He hates San Antonio.
Oh, what's wrong with him?
I don't know. I think he had some bad experiences there. And it was in the local paper, and I'm surprised you didn't hear about it. It was a huge scandal in the city of San Antonio.
Oh, no. Did he have like a bad breakfast taco or something?
It could be. That might have been it. That might have been it.
I got to say, I love breakfast tacos.
And I love San Antonio. Riverwalk, the Alamo.
Aw. Yeah, never forget.
Never forget. Is that it? We say the Alamo, never forget? I thought that was 9/11 and the Holocaust. Oh, so it's the Alamo, 9/11, the Holocaust. Never forget. Oh, wait. I'm going to start a new company called San Antonio Breakfast Tacos. And it's going to say the Alamo.
Oh, they might not like it if it's from California.
Listen, it's going to say, they're going to like my catchphrase. It's going to say San Antonio Tacos made in Los Angeles, California. The Alamo, 9/11, the Holocaust. Never forget. Breakfast tacos.
Oh, my God.
That's really good, Moshe.
Thanks. I'm a marketing guy.
It's a good way to bring people together.
Thank you.
Wait, so Abby, what's happening in your life?
Well, I guess my question for you guys might be a little more on the esoteric side, but basically I'm a Ph.D. student,
and I have a really great life, and I love what I do. But I've been single for a couple years, and I would just really like some companionship. But it's really hard dating as a PhD student. I work 7 days a week, and more importantly than that, I feel like a lot of men are intimidated by my level of education.
Is it possible it's because you say PhD student twice in 1 minute of talking to you?
No, but it's her whole life. It's her whole life.
What are you getting your PhD
kind
in?
Of like the nexus of everything that I do.
You did say
I'm getting
nexus.
my PhD. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just feeling a little intimidated. But what are you getting your PhD in?
English literature.
Oh, interesting. So you are finding yourself a bit intimidated. Men are a bit intimidated by you, and it's difficult to get a connection with them as a result. And you live where?
And she doesn't have a lot of time.
And where is it that you live again?
I'm sorry?
You live where again?
San Antonio.
San Antonio, Texas. I'm thinking maybe just to throw this out there, maybe you should leave Texas.
Yeah, that would be nice, but I have my fellowship here.
Now, what kind of gumption? What kind of dang gumption? Oh, I never would. English literature. I read Tucker Max. I hope they serve beer in hell. And I read Lonesome Dove. What's your specialty? What's your focus?
I think it's going to be something involving feminism and science fiction.
Oh, well.
Or speculative fiction. I'm not really kind of bouncing between the two.
Well, so you need someone like, what kind of guys do you like?
Just like smart, nice people. The bar is pretty low.
Well, smart, that's hard to find.
And have you tried dating other graduate students at your university, or is that a no-no or something? A tawdry affair with a professor?
My program is mostly women. But I also, by principle, don't really want to shit where I eat. And
you really are a student of English literature.
I know. That's Shakespearean. And also I had kind of a bad experience dating another professor once. So I tried to avoid
that's
academics
smart
in my dating life.
But why is your when doing what you do 7 days a week, you have to, so you're really not even out there trying to meet people. You're just working all the time. Sounds like you need to cut down a little bit.
I don't think she can. They're kind of right. They're kind of slave drivers at the.
When does it end? Is there an end in sight so you can at least have that to look forward to?
Yeah. I have a pretty diverse circle of friends, and they're usually who I meet people through. But other
the thing
than
is,
that,
you don't want to be having to decline invitations to cool things all the time because you have to be working. Or you're not going to meet people.
But isn't that part of the dilemma? Because you're a PhD student, they kind of they squeeze you dry, kind of a thing. Isn't that right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Like they want to prove how hard it's going to be. Like if you can't make it.
Well, they're getting a lot of cheap and free labor out of you, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have a question. Are you on any dating apps?
I tried Bumble and I tried Hinge, but they were both kind of disappointing experiences and kind of not worth the effort of the energy that you have to spend putting into those kind of apps.
Well, my first blush thought here is, Abby, is that sometimes I 100% believe you that the men that you're encountering are intimidated by your level of education. But there's a part of me that just knows for sure Texas is a big state, and there's all kinds of real thoughtful, these kind of thoughtful working men, that would appreciate a woman of letters, like a steer wrestler who loves to read Keats or something like that. I just feel like that guy's definitely out there. Okay, I'll give you an example from my own life. The whole thing about men being intimidated by funny women, well, that just doesn't, that's stupid to me because I'm a comedian. That doesn't apply. But a woman that is as much of an earner or more than you. People they say like, oh, a man doesn't want a woman to outshine him, but that's the primary thing that I'm attracted to in Natasha, is that she earns more money than me per year. It's like, but the primary thing. But my point here is,
but you're a different type of person. Some people like someone who's like a +1.
Absolutely. Well, that is my point, which is that for every stereotypical guy that's intimidated by a brilliant woman, there's a guy out there that is looking for a brilliant woman, that wants the woman to be the intellectual.
And that's something to remember.
Yeah.
What you have to offer, because you're working on it, and you're at like a very high level in your career, and it's cool.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what percentage of people in the world get a Ph.D.? What do you think, Abby? Like 1%?
That's what I've been told. Yeah.
1%. So you're in like the intellectual 1%, and you're thinking that you should be having the romantic ease of the 99%. But you're not. That's not going to happen. Your road is probably going to be more difficult. Like, my brother is an academic as well. He's a rabbi. He's got a Ph.D. in law. And surprise, surprise, he has a difficult time finding a partner. Not because he's like, everybody's so dumb, but because it's like, it's just difficult for people in your position to find people that are both stimulated, they are stimulated by, and that aren't so intimidated by their level of education that they feel like they can't play in the same field as them. So I just think you're going to have to wait. And the person is out there. He is right now riding a calico long hair Arabian pony across the flatlands of East Texas. And he's coming your way, girl. He's coming your way.
Okay.
When you said calico, that just made me think I'm going to have to get another cat.
No. You're moving in the wrong direction.
Yeah, don't get a cat.
Don't get more cats. You got to stay the course. Stick with the 4 that you already have. I know you're an English literature major, so you probably have 7 and it's a feminism focus, so maybe you have 7 cats. Okay, but don't go too far. I just think,
and if you have a choice in your schedule, just try to open up some time, even if it's like set ahead in the future, to go to the cool thing that you want to see, or try to make that a priority.
But yeah, let me ask you, Natasha. You're a powerful woman who in a field where men are intimidated by what you do. Did you have a difficult time finding men that weren't intimidated by your success and your funniness?
I mean, I wouldn't have dated them if they were.
You might be a bad example, actually, because Natasha dated comedians.
Yeah, I usually would date people who I thought that we would just laugh together.
Right.
That's more fun.
I'm thinking you might want to rethink your shit where you eat policy, Abby.
Okay.
Well, it is true. Like, you do want someone who you have a lot in common with.
I have a great idea.
That's hard.
How many great universities are there? How many universities are there within spitting distance of San Antonio?
Oh, just within San Antonio, there are a ton of universities.
Ooh, maybe there's like a university Tinder.
Well, if there's not...
that would be nice.
Ph.D. Tinder, like some kind of like...
Well, if they have farmers meet up and Christian mingle, they should have snooty intellectual snobbery meetup or something like that.
I mean, honestly, that's where I would go.
I think that's your best bet. Ask around people that are graduate students and professors at other universities. Say, hey, are there any people out there that you could think of in the graduate programs or or professors out there? Because I want to get me a man of letters.
Someone told me to read this book once. Hold on, I need to figure out what it is.
What's the book?
The Feminine Force. That's what it was called. And this woman was like, her name was Georgette, and she was like this woman from Texas, and she married this rich guy, and he died, and she really wanted like to meet someone, and someone told me to read her book. But anyway, one of her tips from this Southern lady was like, make lists of all the people you know who know people, and tell them like, hey, I'm looking for someone, if there's anyone to set me up with. And she was like, so, and then she found this like amazing husband. But I always thought that was like, I almost got to that place.
And then you settled with me. No, Abby, I think this is your task. You should ask around about other graduate students and professors and universities around you, because those guys are guys that are probably going to be less intimidated by an academic woman.
But also people who know people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And get back on the apps and put in your bio PhD student. So you've already, nobody's going to click on you if they're like, I don't want me no smart lady. They're going to click on you and go, tell me more.
That's what I was doing, though.
Tell me more about Octavia Butler. I want to know more.
If there's that many universities in the surrounding areas, I think it's worth just telling a few friends that you're looking.
And then if none of that works...
go to the events at these places.
If none of that works, you go down to Plano and you find yourself a rancher and you just pretend to be dumb like women have done for ages and ages, Just get down there and you squelch that intellectual instinct and find you a man.
Sounds good.
No, we have faith in you.
Yeah, for sure. I think that intelligence goes a long way, and you're not going to want to settle for somebody that's scared of your big old brain.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
I think we really helped that lady.
Well, we at least gave her confidence. You gave her confidence.
It's true. She's got somebody coming.
You're right. She isn't most people do not get a PhD. That's just intense study. Just by getting a PhD, it means that you've probably read more than a normal person.
I think that any person, male or female, would be intimidated by dating a PhD candidate.
Even for English literature, that's the one area I could get a PhD in. I would not be quiet. I don't have the space in my brain to be able to get any other PhD besides literature. Do you think you could?
Yeah, I could get a quantum physics one for sure.
No, you couldn't get math or science PhD.
My mom is I wouldn't call her an academic or an intellectual. She married a man with a PhD. My stepdad is an entomologist. He's got a damn PhD. My doctor stepdaddy. That's what I call him. I call him Dr. SD.
Well, my mom married someone who has a doctorate, so it's the same thing.
It's the same thing, hon.
I'm from Illinois. No one told me about college.
Maybe you could get an Illinois PhD.
I was never, there were no career counselors. They just wanted me to get a job at Walmart. I kind of got my own thing happening. I did it.
I love your thing.
I did it on my own. I didn't grow up knowing about colleges and I went to college for 9 years.
Yeah, there you go. So you might be the best college student around because you went for the longest.
Well, I could only go part-time because I had to pay for it.
Honey, you don't have to convince me. I think you're brilliant, and I think you're impressive. And guess what else? I love you.
Love you too.